看那边是不是
Yes.
3, 2, 1, go.
Hello， 大家好，我是英语咨询中心的助理 Erica。然后我今天要来宣传那个 CCC Chat Room 跨文化云端讨论室。然后你们进来 Innet 然后下面这边点活动网站，然后 English 2。好，活动说明这里有个国际动力跨文化云端讨论室。然后这边有课程资讯都写得很清楚，然后但是报名的地方不是要点这哦，报名的地方你们要回来这边点这里，云端讨论。好，这边有很多个就是不同的主题这样，然后你们要预约的话按这里，然后很多都已经额码，然后你们可以看一下。哦，对，今天就是由我们 host Andrew 就是的那个讲的，还有名额，就是可以赶快去报名这样子。大概是这样，谢谢。
Okay, yes, students, we are back. So please do, if you'd like to talk to me, we will be talking about Germany today. We spent some time in Germany, so we'll be talking a little bit about the country in general today, from 6:30 to 7:30. So if you are interested, please come to visit. So we are going to continue with our discussion with Professor Wu.
Yes.
In the first session, we focused on science and your research. Now, in the second part, we will talk a little bit about language, because English is obviously a very important tool for you in your research, in your communications with scholars from other places. So, can you tell us a little bit about how you started to learn English, your memories of learning English when you were younger? Yeah, young as in like.
Yeah, okay. Languages, I think since this is English literature department, right, or whatever.
This is the Self-Learning Center for English. English Self-Learning Center.
Okay, anyway, well, what I'm going to say is that language is very important to communicate, okay? If you don't speak well, people cannot understand you well, then you will start the misunderstanding. So how to communicate? You have to have a certain kind of languages. So we always say that common language, when we are talking, we know each other, we communicate very well, something like that. So talk about this English, you know that English is one of the international languages. That's why English language is very important. You speak well, then you can communicate well. You communicate well, then you can go around, okay, very easily. So, what am I saying that I'm emphasizing the importance of the English languages in this book. So, as following up your question is how I started to learn English speaking. Put it this way, when I was young, yes, I'm sort of like the baby boom after the Second World War. So at the time, there's still a lot of American militaries residing in Taiwan. Okay, and before actually, we have a chance to go to the church, and there's what we call the Baptist church. They have a group and singing together, like a choir. And I'm like singing, so I go there to sing with them. Also, start my English conversation.
I never knew that. How have I lived so many years and I never knew that?
Everybody has a little bit of secret.
I never knew that.
Anyway, that's why the first time I started to use English as conversation. Certainly, that's when I was in the senior high school. And we all know that in my age that we started English learning from junior high school.
Yes.
Nowadays, I start from second grade.
Yes.
And for the people in my age, we are studying English. Actually, we only read and write.
Yes.
Okay. We don't have a chance to communicate or to conversation with anybody.
Yes.
In Taiwan. We don't have that kind of environment. And it's really poor at the time. It was under the curfew law in Taiwan. So, yeah, 戒严期. And you can't have any kind of radio or radio station using in English only ICRT. That's the only places we can listen or hear the English talking program, something like that.
Yes.
And at the time people start to learn English, they start to read the Time magazines.
Yeah.
And I have one classmate, he read the Time magazine word by word. Even they check the dictionary word by word. And that's not the way to learn English. At the time maybe I was as, I don't want to say stupid as he is, but I'm also learning the English word by word, reading the English word by word. Certainly I'm not doing that way now.
Yeah.
What I'm going to say that to learn English actually in Taiwan now has a lot of opportunity and also the situation or the climate to learn English. Okay, that's what one of the comments I got from my foreign friends.
Yeah.
They said that to Taiwan you can go around very easy. Even those staff in the 7-Eleven speak English, right?
Yes.
So you can get the lectures from even the 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
So I think that's the one part in Taiwan is the success in English teaching.
Yes.
But the other part, this is still students, like my graduate students, don't even write English well. Okay, that's the problem. So I don't want to say that it's a successful education, English education or teaching in Taiwan or it's a failure. But I would say that it's very important for person, because if you want to communicate with your foreign friend, you want to make foreign friends, then you have to have some certain kind of language. But English is a common language. If you want to have a French friend, you can learn French. You want to have a German friend, you can learn German. Okay.
Normally they speak English though.
I know, but eventually you can go into better communication if you do want to know their culture. So you through language you can learn a lot of things, not only like science, technologies or whatever. You want to learn more like the foreign domain, their foreign cultures, or like a culture in South Asia, in Europe. You have to use their language. Then you can learn more in that way. So actually, language is very important. The only things, even myself, I only have my second language is English. It's not good because I try to learn the Japanese or other words, but I never got the point to speak well in that kind of languages. So I always feel so regret because I don't learn Japanese. Even though my older brother using Japanese well, he can communicate with my parents, your grandpa, grandma in Japanese.
Yeah, but he doesn't speak English though.
Oh, he does read. He does write.
No, he doesn't. No.
Yes.
No, he doesn't.
No, you don't argue with me. Because
Okay, yes, he does. Yes. Yes.
one way is that
I'm
your
just joking.
definition of
Just
English.
joking.
No, I know you're joking, but this kind of arguments like people in Taiwan, commonly they can write a little bit, read a little bit, but how well they read and how they write. In here, you try to encourage the audience, students, to have their self-learning in English. So you want them to learn well and to write well, to read well also, right?
Yes.
So that's different stories. If you want to have enough language ability to survive in Taiwan, I think your uncle is good enough.
Agreed. Yes.
Okay. Even though he can write a little bit in English for his research.
Yes.
Okay. Research work or research report. Before I have to correct the grammar for him, but he's still right.
Right.
And you can go out to the campus. And you meet with any professor from engineering school or any school, any colleges. Some of them maybe have got a degree from United States, but their English is not so good. I would say that, or is not as
Are we allowed to say that? Okay. Yes, sure.
I was going to use the at all something word.
Okay,
but
okay.
in your office you told me I cannot use that word.
Right. Yes. We
Okay.
well, we will not.
Yes. Not so good. Okay. Anyway, so that's why I'm saying that because people, when they go to the United States, they have a degree in the United States, they can write, no problem. Their thesis, their papers, they have to be in English,
Right.
but the conversation is different.
Yeah.
And conversation is communications.
Mhm.
And it's very important for a person
Mhm.
to have good conversation abilities.
And how did you work on your conversation skills?
Okay, that's one of the stories. I have many stories.
Yes.
So start from when I was in high school, I tried to go to the choir with those people actually is from the Air Force in Thailand, resided in Thailand.
Yeah.
But I sing in English. I listen to them, no problem in English, but it's very difficult for me to talk or to catch the conversation with them
Yes.
because we don't have a chance to practice.
Does that sound familiar? I think that will sound familiar to our students. Yeah.
I think so, but nowadays actually you can go to a lot of places to learn English.
Mhm.
Even though we have very good English program, even in the early morning, not really early morning, in certain time of the television, they have English news.
Yes.
So they have many ways, many places you can go and learn your English.
Yes.
But even watching the TV news, English news, you are still listening.
Yes.
Okay, reading a book, you are reading.
Yes.
Okay, maybe after you read a book, you write something out, then you are writing,
Mhm.
but not conversation. Conversation is different.
Yes.
Okay, so usually you will know that people conversation, even in Mandarin or even in Taiwanese dialogue, is very short sentences. So short sentences is very important for conversation. You will talk right to the point, and you will try to express yourself in a very short sentences. And I think that's also the way you are writing papers, short sentence. Very, very simple and very clear and very bright words to use in. So conversation, I always ask, have the advice maybe or for the newcomers from to United States, like a new student they just arrived in the United States and they will ask me how to learn English. Maybe nowadays they are already well prepared, but in before, I told them that you read newspapers. Okay.
Read newspapers.
Yeah. But you know what is the first part of newspaper you're going to read?
Mhm. The
Yeah.
headlines, right?
No.
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 The TV guide.
No.
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 See, I'm still being quizzed. So the
Anybody can answer me?
Yeah, anyone? What's the first part of the newspaper? The sports part?
No.
No, not the arts part.
No.
Politics,
No.
business news,
No.
the gossip, the tabloids,
The cartoons.
the cartoon. I should know that. Oh my gosh!
That's what I'm teaching you.
Oh, that's right. Thank you, Professor Wu. Thank you, Dan. Yes, that's right. You're right. You're right. Read the cartoons. Oh my gosh! That's so true.
Cartoon.
Read the cartoons.
Cartoons, especially like
Peanuts. Yeah.
Charles Brown. They're always very short conversations.
Yeah.
It is a whole sentence, but very short.
Uh-huh.
And that's a daily conversations.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so you read cartoons first, and the cartoon usually will reflect the politics of the time.
Mhm.
Okay, sometimes they have some kind of what they criticize cartoons, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's cartoons you start. And the second part,
Start from the cartoons.
second part,
The TV guide.
no,
No. The opinions.
no,
The no. The headlines.
no.
Welcome to my world,
The
students.
second part, you read the commercial
Oh, the commercials.
of the supermarket.
Oh, okay.
When I was in the United States, because you have to buy the cheap things.
The cheap
right?
stuff. Yeah.
But supermarket is your daily life because you need to go buy foods
Uh-huh.
and you will read, so you start to learn that what's the name of this vegetable, what's the name of this fruit.
Okay.
Okay.
That's right. That's true.
And also you can find the coupons for buying
For
your
mine, so that's nothing. So cartoons and then commercials. The ads. The ads.
Ads, yeah.
The ads.
And then the third part will be the daily news,
The news.
headlines only.
Uh-huh.
You only read the headlines if the headlines interest you.
Mhm.
Then you start to read into the contents.
The-
Otherwise, you don't read the contents.
What newspaper would you suggest our students read if they have a choice? What do you like?
You talking about in Taiwan or talking about in
In English, yeah.
English? In Taiwan now, there's China Post, I think.
Read the China
I-
Post.
still-
You still read the China Post?
I think it's,
Yeah.
there's still.
It's still
China-
online, but it's still online. It's online now.
Online, it's okay.
It's okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes,
Even
read the
though
China Post.
you go to that, the Google, so you can go to the cartoons part.
Cartoons.
Yeah, you can go just read those cartoons, and you try to put yourself into the cartoons, like one of the actors in the cartoons.
Yeah.
And then you know that he say that, he say that,
Mhm.
and I will say that. So short sentence is very important.
How?
So when I was senior high school, I go to the church, but I don't learn a lot.
Mhm.
Only after that, I first time I go abroad is the first time I go for my master degree.
Yes.
And you know that where I go,
Yes.
I went to that Fairbanks, Alaska.
Alaska.
Yeah,
Alaska.
So I keep telling the people that I learned my conversation ability with minors.
With my
Minors, those people working in the
Mines,
mines.
yeah.
Yeah. Because after we were working, we're doing our experiments in the experimental mine. Actually, it's not a real mine; it's an experimental mine. And then after we work there, then we are getting tired. We will go to the pub.
Uh-huh.
The pub are full of miners. Right?
Yes, yes, I
So
can
I start to
imagine.
learn. I start to learn the kind of very what we call maybe low-level English. Very what do you call that? Very
Colloquial, common people.
Common
of the
people,
common,
yeah.
yeah.
So
Regional.
you were using all four-letter words and kind of words, yeah.
Were you the only Asian person there at the time? Or
No,
were there
no,
others?
then
Were there
the others, but most of the time I was the alone,
You
yeah.
were alone.
So telling those people go rolling to the United States that
Yeah.
if you can go to the pub and speaking English to all the people in the pub, and you listen to them, you know what the joke they are making, you were laughing, and you make joke to them and they were laughing, your English is good enough.
It's good enough, okay.
Your conversation ability.
So that is the standard of.
No, not really the standard, but that's the way
That is one
to test your conversation
conversation.
abilities. Yeah. So that's I always